All right, time for the mid flesh tones. So this is Army Painter Warpaint's Barbarian Flesh. And of the 3 flesh tones I chose, this is kind of the even flesh tone, I guess. I'm going to drop out a little bit on my wet palette and go to town on these here minis. So we have a scientist lady pushing a cart of equipment, and she's going to be my first victim. I mean, paint job. Dab, dab, dab. Going in close. Paint, paint, paint. Get under her chin. Get on the face there and the ears. Don't forget about the ears. Get the neck. And she's wearing some kind of like lab coat, so I'm going to make sure I get the neck all the way to the bottom there. Get the ears, get the forehead. You can always go back and clean up the hair when you're ready for hair. Not a lot of coverage, so this is going to be definitely a 2-coat situation. Looks like she is wearing gloves, so I might just leave those alone and not do a flesh tone. I'm going to just hit a little tiny bit on the back of her neck, near her collar, and around the back of her ear. Okay. Then we have, I don't know what this person is. She's a backpacker, maybe like an explorer, archaeologist, who knows, in the world of Cthulhu. But she has like short cropped hair. Maybe this would be an adventurer who explores, maybe an anthropologist, who knows. That's extremely sloppy. I'm not proud of myself, but as I mentioned, a good tip is don't have too much coffee right before you paint minis, because it turns out to be a mess. Do, 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 do. This guy is also some kind of explorer with a duffel bag. Gonna get his ears and his chin and his forehead and his face. Yep, pretty good, pretty good. He's all gloved up. The rest of him doesn't show any exposed flesh. So again, just hitting the basics here. First time around. Shouldn't take too long for those things to dry, because there's not a lot of paint on that first coat. Same thing here. Gonna go around his facial features. There's a significant difference, people, in the amount of details that you have to worry about when you're working with a 28mm plastic mini from a cheap set. Okay, he has rolled up sleeves. I don't know if you could see that, but that means I got to do some arms, which is good because it gives me another opportunity to see how this flesh tone works. So it looks like dude's holding like a cup of coffee, and gonna get his fingers, the bottom underneath, get his arms all the way up to them sleeves. And again, a little messy first go around, but oh well. Looks like he's holding like a tablet of some kind. my God. The degree to which my hands are shaking is ridiculous. I have like no accuracy. Good thing I'm just doing skin. Do. All right, what? This person has like a mask on and like a welding mask. So all I see are their eyes, but then their arms are exposed, which seems weird to me. If you were doing welding, I would think that you would have like more protective body covering on. So just gonna get in there with some flesh tone on the eyes, and then I'm gonna go back and do these arms, back of the arms, back of the, oh shit, I'm making a mess. Oh well, more work to do on the next few coats. We got a great big convoy. Okay. How's that looking, Dave? You see those details? See them details starting to pop? Okay. This dude is just face. I think everything else, nope, his hands are available. So he's got like a phone to his head, which sucks, because it means that I have to get his hands. And his face, which means the phone's going to get doused in paint as well. And his chin, and his other side, and his ear. And his other hand down here, which is like in his pocket, or like clutching the bottom of his jacket. All right, good enough. Good enough for a first coat. All right, my dude here is, what the hell is this guy? He's like bald, but he's got like a crown of hair on the back. So I got to get the top of his head, like a samurai. Like he's got like a top knot going on. Got to get his chin. His jawline and his ear. Okay, that's that for him. This looks like a professor type, carrying a book or laptop, I don't know what that is, and a mug of coffee. No, yeah, carrying like a file folder thing. The Quest for the Modern Mini. A story by Bill Allen. One day I decided that we were gonna need minis for Call of Cthulhu, and I looked at my hundreds of minis and realized I don't have enough modern minis. So I went out and bought a mixed variety of minis to use for Cthulhu. Let's see how well that worked. Okay, so now his hands, because why would he be wearing gloves? He's not. Now's the time to get all those flesh tones in. Not great details. But as I've said repeatedly, you get what you pay for. And I didn't pay a lot. Okay. Almost done with this pack. She's got long hair, so I'm going to go all the way up to the top. You know what? This is not a she. My apologies. This is a man with long hair. That's my assertion. Got a hand there that's not in a glove, so we're going to hit that. Can you see okay, Dave? It really helps to have a lot of light when you're painting. So if you're trying to paint and you're not in a studio like me, just get as many lights as you can. Or invest in one of those magnifying glass light stand things. I have one at home. All right. So let's do a little comparison while I'm cleaning out my paintbrush. I want to take a look at the difference between the browner flesh tones that we did and the lighter ones that I just did. So I'm going to grab Morpheus from the brown pack and this dude. Wow, there's just not a significant, yeah, I guess there is. Can you see that, Dave? Is my hand blocking it? Okay, how about now? Okay, so what we see here is very subtle. Very subtle. Now, part of that subtlety is because there's still gray primer poking through the lighter color. Morpheus has 2 coats on, but I think it's important to have that, you know, for realism. And I know that sounds crazy given the fact that these are minis for a not real game, and really how much realism do you need? I mean, but I don't know, I guess it's important enough to me, and maybe it is to you. So, but I do have to say that I'm glad that I mixed the brown in with the darker flesh tone, because I think it makes a difference. So we'll see how that looks. Let's get another coat on these guys, because that paint really didn't take that long. Get my point together. So let's do another coat on these guys. Get a little dab of paint all around there. Let's get Samurai Jack here. Get him another coat right along the top of his head. Especially on his cheeks. He might not be dry enough for coat number 2. Well, it's a little better coverage. A little better. This is my dude with the long hair. Start off with the hands. Second coat going on just fine. Second coat of the flesh is also a good way to spot if you missed something the first time around. Like sometimes if you're doing something right up against a shirt or jacket and you realize you missed a spot, now's the time to hit it. Because hopefully we won't have to come back to the flesh coats after we're done if we do this right. Get in those gaps right there. Get the ears and the face and the neck. Sometimes you got to kind of poke the paint in if you don't have a lot of room to work. How's that there looking, Dave? Really want to make sure I get this along the hairline as well. Because once I hit that hairline, hopefully I won't have as shaky hands when I get to that point. But you need that separation. It's kind of crucial. Okay, a little better, a little bit better. Move the finished guys over there. Plenty of paint left on the palette. Plenty of paint, which is fine. Make sure I got this guy's thumbs and fingers where I need them to be. And that lower hand holding onto the file case, file folder case, briefcase thing. Okay. Good way to check to see if you're getting everything that you need to get is this second layer. And I am seeing spots that I didn't get, so I'm going back over to fill them in, even that out. Better. This was the welder person. Welder with a short sleeve shirt on, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but then again, I am not a welder. Although, true story, while I was in art school, I had to take an industrial arts class as a prereq, and part of that I did welding. And my project was a total catastrophe, just to be clear. I was trying to make a metal CD rack back when CDs were a thing. Remember that, Dave? And my metal CD rack was not balanced and it would not stand up. It was very ornamental, but it lacked significant purpose. Okay, very fine details here in the exposed part that's not covered by a mask or a visor. Shebang. All right, now we're on to Adventure Joe. or Adventure Kelly. I don't know. I guess this is a pretty gender neutral sculpt. All right. Okay, here's this dude with the arms. So that's good. I want to get all those fine details. Make sure I got his flesh tones in there, but I don't want to drown him out, which I'm kind of doing right now as I am painting this in. Part of that is just the sculpt kind of doesn't have a lot of details, so oh well. Flesh tones. Make his flesh pop. Make the flesh pop out. Make it significant. Give him the flesh. I mean, basically, above all, I just don't want to see gray primer popping through. So as long as I got enough coverage to handle that, we're good. Doesn't have to be perfect, just has to be good enough. And technician lady pushing a cart. Okay. While those are drying, I'm going to work on a few. What just happened there? While those are drying, I'm going to work on a few of the metal minis. So here's this guy's like a private eye looking dude. Gonna give him a first coat of the flesh. Man, what a difference. Look how that just sticks. Got my guy's ears, neck. Don't know if he is wearing gloves. He's holding a snub-nose revolver though. I think I'm gonna say that he's wearing gloves. So I'm just gonna give him a little face action there. Then we have this nerdly, like football player playing, I don't know what this is. You know, he's a jock. This is from the jock set. Jock. Stereotypes. Okay, jock, let's get your neck. Back of your neck, under your hairline. And your ear. And your chin. And your pretty face, which Cthulhu will eat. Cthulhu will eat you. Render your flesh to Cthulhu. Okay, good. His hand is holding a football. I want to get his hand. Man, that's super, super, super detailed. I should have first coated these guys when I was doing the other ones. All right, this is like this spy, femme fatale woman, kind of. So she has a pretty deep neckline. So I'm going to get her face and her neckline, and I will definitely have to come back over this for a second coat so she doesn't look like an ashy zombie. Oh, she's packing a heat behind her back. She's got a purse in one hand and a gun in the other. Hot damn. Okay, then she's got pants and high boots on. So I think that's it for Flash. Sorry, she's really low cut. So now I gotta get in there. Oh, this is gonna be awesome when she's got a couple more layers of paint on her. This is the one that falls all the time too. I'm gonna have to glue her to the base. All right, my dude here. This is clearly like a computer programmer. No offense to any of my computer programming friends, but this guy basically looks like all of my friends from the 90s who were computer science or computer engineers. And you'll see when I'm done painting him, you'll be like, oh my gosh, that looks like Jeff, my buddy from college. Yes, it does. Maybe your Jeff was Ray. Maybe your Jeff was Andrew or Pete. Fingers? How about now, better? All right, and this dude has arms, exposed arms, which is great. Great opportunity to see how this is gonna stick with this first coat. Man. This primer just be eating up the paint, Dave. Eating it up. This is going to be a two-coat situation for sure. And the other arm. Back of the arm first, maybe? Right around the... right around the elbow. All right, a couple more people that definitely are gonna have to wait until the next skin tone because I have an even more pale skin tone for some of my pale people. So this girl is gonna be the last with this skin tone. So she has long hair with kind of deep set eyes, and she's wearing a button shirt with a sweater over it, which means I got to get into the neckline, which is in and of itself a challenge, people. 'Tis a challenge. And she's wearing a sweater, so I just have to hit her hands. Okay. Good, 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 good. All right. That covers that group of flesh tones. And now we're going to do the last group of flesh tones. Well, you know what maybe I'll do before we move on to the next color group? While I have this handy, maybe I will do the second coat on these metal minis, because they sure do soak it up. Yes, they do. My wet palette is keeping me alive here, keeping me going, people. So I'm just going to hit the spots that I missed on my dude. Get in the base. Okay, same with this guy. This is the jock. He's not super swole, I'll tell you that much. But that's okay. Maybe he's the quarterback. Maybe he just tosses the ball. Okay. My femme fatale. I could really have fun with like the color palette for her clothing. That could be a lot of neat times. Just want to make sure I got everything that I need to get, because her hair is definitely covering a lot of the features that I would normally be able to get on the face really easily. And now computer programmer / engineer Bob, or Steve, or Bill. Take your pick. Any number of those names works just fine. Maybe this is an Ed, Dave. Do you think so? Goatee? Check. Glasses? Check. Get the back of his arms. The other side of the arms. Sure. Why not? Oops. That's okay. Because I'm going to need that, because I'm going to mix it with a lighter color for the next batch. But I'm going to close out my girl here with this original color. Make sure I got all my coverage covered. Coverage covered, Dave. I'm making up new ways of speaking. Okay. Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. All right, that's it for that flesh tone. In the next one, I'm going to mix up a little lighter, so stay tuned.